Right, ladies and gentlemen, our first panelist speaker, choose to follow what you might, is Sherry Chahal. Can I see her in the audience? Where is she? Of She Force. Am I right? She Rose. Sorry, She Rose. You had another name for this, which was slightly more memorable, which also I have forgotten. It was called Flexi Moms. Flexi Moms. But yeah, Flexi Moms is like Mumbai Angels. You know, it could be an escort service also. So. Anyway, so she runs a site. That provides flexible working hours. Stop thinking your dirty minds. I can see the filth. The filth is coming right up to my face. So she runs a site where women have a shot at a second career, if I'm not mistaken. Why don't we get you up on stage and then explain it better? Sherry Chahal, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together.
Yeah, the next speaker for the day, for starting up of the Beaten Track is Hitesh Bhatia, who is the founder of an interesting food startup called Noodle Play. Hitesh is a serial entrepreneur. He's done a bunch of previous businesses in the HR and tech space earlier before this. Hitesh Bhatia, ladies and gentlemen, please.
वो इसके हाथ से वो whistle निकालो. Just check your mics for a bit.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Good morning. Can we have these lights dimmed a bit, please? The yellow halogens.
A park and timber.
Audible now?
Visible now? No, I don't think a mic is working. So can we just have another mic, just a hand mic? So guys, the format for this is informal. And what we're trying to do is basically track their respective journeys. It's not a Q&A, it's just a conversation. And please feel free to divert from this beaten path. So if you feel that this is very constricting, then please go ahead and say, no, I want to talk about something else. Please shamelessly plug your startup at regular intervals. बहुत important है. Free publicity come or it doesn't come very often. We'll alternate the questions. I'll put the first questions to both of you. You can take any order, ladies first. So, what do you think, Sherry? Do you think entrepreneurs are born or are they made? And what was it in your case? Did you have an inspiration? Do you have a business background? How did it all start?
Okay, so I don't come from a business background. Nobody in my family was ever an entrepreneur. I in fact didn't know the term until I finished college and I started doing short assignments for .coms and writing, so on and so forth. But a few years into my corporate stint, and I knew that I was going to get out of it very soon. I did my first startup when I was 20.
Was it a t-shirt startup? Because all of us did t-shirts in college. How many guys print t-shirts in college? How many guys tried to sell? You boss?
No. So what we set up, in fact, it was at the beginning of the first .com boom. We set up world's first newspaper for mariners. Basically, we set up a backend in India and a marketing office in Cyprus. And we catered to merchant navy ships. And it was a subscription startup where we would beam a newspaper for every specific sailing nationality on any ship, any given day, every day. And it was beamed via the satellite, printed on the deck and distributed on the deck. So it was a subscription service in the days of .com. We had about 2/3 of the market. But it was somebody else's money. But I put that startup out. Somebody was kind enough to say, here, let's do this. And you build this up. So I think everything I know about startups happened while working at a startup. And I did spend a few years in the corporate space where I learned that I'm not going to last out here. I'm just too bored. I make a lot of money, but my brain's dead and I'm just not having fun. So I've been an entrepreneur a couple of times now. I've had 2 failed startups, 2 successful startups. I'm at my 5th startup.
So let's talk about the 2 failures, because it's very easy to gloss up success in the entrepreneurial story, right? Everybody focuses on that because that's the rock star story. So nobody talks about Parikshit's days in Spar, which was like a grocery thing, right? Nobody talks about that because this is the success story. But I think failure is as important, if not.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, so I got into a retail startup because it was with a friend and the idea seemed greatly exciting. But in hindsight, I realized my heart wasn't in it and I knew nothing about the business. So my learning curve was very flat as part of that whole journey. And it wasn't a business I was superbly excited about. It wasn't something that got me up every morning. It was more of a business investment. And that wasn't the right way to do it.
Do you think friends make for good startup founders?
I don't think so. Especially people who know you inside out. I think no. You can work. You can co-found startups with people you work with. I think it's much easier. Or you can co-found startups with people who know you from a certain space, maybe your college or from your previous workspaces. But if there's somebody who's as close as family or friends, I think that's a very tough territory to tread. And then a lot of your time is going to go into negotiating that space.
Hitesh, your story?
So I'm audible? Yeah. So I think startup entrepreneurs are born. That's what I believe in. And I think there are lots like diamonds, just waiting to be discovered. The problem I realize is that everybody has an entrepreneurial spirit, but education ruins us. The ecosystem, the parents, the education actually ruins us. And specifically in India, they build a system of security where you can't be an entrepreneur. And it's like you were talking last night,
How many TAM brands in the audience? Does anybody even know that term?
I think there's just
One TAM brand. Who's it?
There's just one in Jaipur, I think.
There's me. There's only me.
One on the stage, yeah.
So TAM brands, if you start a business, you don't get married. कोई लड़की नहीं देगा. और तुम्हारी माँ बैल्कनी से कूदने के लिए तैयार हो जाएगी because मेरे बेटे ने corporate job त्याग दिया. Serious, it's that bad. It's that bad. I know this part of the country doesn't have those kind of community pressures.
I think that's what originated the idea of startupshadi.com. I guess somebody started that.
Startups are
TAM
two
brand
failed founders marrying each other.
TAM brand entrepreneurs. Yeah. Fighting others.
अरे वो genetics में होना चाहिए यार. काश मारवाड़ी लड़की मिल जाती, but anyway. Sorry, be diverse.
So I think very clearly that entrepreneurs are born. It's just that you don't discover yourself at the last day party. I think I was an accidental entrepreneur. My success came rather than an accident. I had tried a few ventures. I think earlier my first venture I tried was when I was 13. Let's try to make some extra money. I had a nanny sister who kept living. I said let's make some money to show her that I can earn money. But failed again.
So what did you do? That's I think very important. And what did you learn?
So I didn't know, my father was a trader. So you would get these forms back of those days when you'd apply for an IPO. So if a company had to, was going IPO, they would have those big forms that would come along with the newspapers. And I didn't know what that meant. But I found it pretty interesting because I found uncles and aunties in the building going gaga, this company is going IPO. So I think I wrote letters from 30, 40 companies saying that, I can actually go to all my uncles and aunties in the building and help promote you. I tried that. I went and met a couple of companies. At the age of 13, they found it very funny that you must have kya kar raha hai yaar. So a couple of them met me also and said, listen boss, go back to school. Pocket money dad se le le thoda, kuch rahe, chalega, good anything. But then at 16, I think I started an event management company after t-shirts. The event management was the most simplest thing to do. Everybody makes money. Let's make some money. Let's have some fun. Bomb big time. But then I think my success came as an accidental entrepreneur. I was sacked from my last job. I hated my bosses, which is the best thing that could happen to me. And one fine morning, they got up and said, listen, the team needs to go. I said, okay, we need to go. Coincidentally, the person who hired me was also the person who sacked me, which happened to be very interesting because she became my partner eventually, in business and in life. But I think,
Boss, इसमें काफी सारे सीख हैं. A, have a bad boss. B, have a good looking boss. C, make sure they hire you. D, make sure they fire you. E, make sure you start a business. And F, get married to them.
And then one fine day you will get hit by balls. Like
So
From males.
Yeah, so I think, the challenge was, yes, I believe entrepreneurs are born, and I think it's just being discovered. I think a lot of times what we realize in life is we lose focus. And when you discover that in accidental entrepreneurs, I think are the best entrepreneurs. You don't, like you were saying, you just actually realize one day that listen, what are we wasting my life for?
So did the heavens open up? And did the light just dawn on you? Dude! Or was it more gradual and, was it maybe, was it that kind of was it an epiphany?
It was not an epiphany. I think it was more of a personality trait. So you as you grow older, you figure things that you like and then things that you don't like, things that drain you and things that energize you. I think it was more learning on that path. And even my first own venture was a very small project. It was, I speak Russian and I had worked in the consulting space. So I happened to walk into a project that needed me to work in Kazakhstan for 2 months and they couldn't find anybody else to do the job. So I got the project and then started the company. So it really went off on that road, and over a period of time, this idea took over, and that's what it's now sort of converted to everything. So I had two running companies and like a fairly stable business, but this idea overtook everything, and that's where I've landed now.
Which kind of segues into my next question. Dharmila, you're selling IPO forms to aunties. You know, somebody should tell you when aunties are investing IPOs, it's not a good time to be in the market. You know, that's kind of self-evident, right?
नहीं एक्चुअली जब बचपन से वो एक कीड़ा था, कुछ डर नहीं था. So and I realized a lot of these fundas that we spoke about, and I know I'm not wearing a lot of clothes, so I'm not going to use those fundas.
I don't want to take off your clothes either. I mean,
So I realized these fundas that startup क्या था. When I went to an investor with my first business plan, he said, "Oh, you're a startup." I'm like, "वो क्या होता है?" So a lot of times, these fears come in much later in life, and I realized this funda very later in life that said, "यार डरो या धंधा करो." There are only two ways of doing it. Either you're scared, either you have fear, or you don't have fear. You can only run a business if you don't have fear. You were very lucky, at those days when I was very lucky to have parents who didn't put a boundary around me. So they were like, go explore. And I think as kids that's the beauty. And when you start early, it sort of inculcates into you that यार अगर आप 13 साल की उम्र में किसी घर पे खटखट करके बोल सकते हैं कि मैं आपके लिए
आंटी को IPO फॉर्म बेच रहे हो तो डर नहीं लगता.
तो बस डर नहीं लगेगा. उसके बाद डर अगर 2 लाख पड़ती है बस इससे फिर डर निकल जाता है. और जब वो डर निकल जाए फिर सब कुछ आसान हो जाता है.
So you started doing this for the money, like you said, when you were 13 and 16 and so on and so forth. So did it stop doing it for the money, or?
The funda actually, money wasn't that important.
Okay.
The funda was I was a rebel, the way I look at myself. And I had a sister who would nag me every morning, evening. I'm earning. So
What was she doing? I mean, how old was she? You were 13. What was she?
She was 18. 5 years later.
What was she doing? ऐसा क्या?
She was working part-time in Taj after college. Dad was like, you have to get independent beforehand. तो वो रोज सुनने मिलता था यार देख मैं घर पे आई हूँ पानी क्यों लेकर आ क्योंकि मैं काम करके थक के आई. तो ऐसे यार अभी तो कुछ करना पड़ेगा, इसको बंद करके कुछ करना पड़ेगा. तो उसमें पैसे का इतना जुनून नहीं था, बट हाँ कुछ था अंदर था कुछ करना है.
So coming to the next question, this theme is called starting up of the beaten track, which basically means that I wouldn't do that kind of a business, he wouldn't do that kind of business, but you're doing it. So what made you start up the noodle store? What made you start up?
So I'll just second that question. Was it an itch you were scratching? See, there are only 2 types of problems that you solve, right? One is I have a problem and I'm going to solve it and I'm going to figure out if 100 other people have that problem. That's one approach. The other approach is, hey, you know what? I can see this problem very clearly. Maybe I don't have it and I think it needs a solution. That right? So independently, were you scratching your own itch or were you scratching other people's itches for that?
So the first shot at Fleximoms was really being in middle of it. So I never took a career break, I never got a work flex, I never got off my track. But everybody I knew had, and I mean it's a case of selective perception. When it's not for you, you don't notice it. But when you are in the zone, you start noticing the same kind of problems. And it really led to defining me that, hey, it's just too large. I never noticed it. I can't believe I'm 30 years old and I still haven't seen this so up close and personal. So really from a very personal space, not my problem, but everybody I knew's problem, and a solution at hand. At the back end was also the fact that I'd worked in the HR consulting space, I'd worked in the startup space. I knew there is something to be fixed here. There are 2 sides who need to talk to each other. We need to build something, and I think the timing matters, because sometimes just having the right technology or the right kind of receptiveness helps you take it to the next level.
So Hitesh, let's talk about noodle play. Was it an itch you were scratching, or?
If you ask me honestly, I've been scratching very long everywhere. So I had this thing that which is why I did last 2 jobs. In in any job that I worked with, I would last about 6-9 months. And which is that I said, you know, I have to, I'm a simply HR nightmare, you know. ये हर 6 महीने बंदा हर 6 महीने job change करता है. That's when the entrepreneurial journey started, because I said if I have to keep on changing jobs, I'll probably not land up anywhere. The only way I'll stick to something if I do it myself. But having built starting the tech business, you know, and it lasted for a while, but I had this itch that कुछ और करना है, because as a personality I like building, I didn't like maintaining. So when I saw the opportunity, and I've been an avid food lover all my life, I realized that there is this space, which it was both ways actually. If you ask me, it was partly both ways. I saw that the people, the hunger for food is growing outside. The want for me to get back to the kitchen was growing internally within me also. And I said that having left that and doing something else and coming back to the off-beaten track, was typically the idea was, you know, there's a need that I see that I'm not able to fulfill. You know, there's nobody in the market who can fulfill that. I tried fulfilling that and I realized that nahi, and then 2 years ago tweaking model mein chalu ho gaya. But yeah, I think moreover, if you ask me today, when I in foresight I look back, I think there's a large market need that I saw that nobody is doing that, and it's such a large opportunity. Why is nobody doing that?
Yeah, I think it's a real case of is that African story, right? Nobody wears shoes. Is that an opportunity or is it a no go? So so while you know I saw the problem at a personal context, some numbers were very startling. India produces the maximum number of women graduates in the world. There are about 48% women who drop out of work before they reach a managerial rank. There are only 5% women in leadership, about 9% in mid-levels, and about 17% overall. So, I mean, numbers backed it up. The more I probed, the better it got. The more I worked into it, the more we piloted, the more we sort of looked into the case, it just got stronger. So sometimes it starts from a very personal journey, but it goes in alliance with the ecosystem. The ecosystem has to be there. There has to be a market. There has to be a user. There has to be somebody who has to want what you produce.
The market size तो बहुत मुझे MBA jargon लगता है. Honestly बताऊँ तो. Market size क्या है? You know, as a startup, so passion.
Market size, if I may be permitted to use the word, Excel masturbation.
नहीं है सर, और कुछ नहीं है.
तो एक्सेल पे वो बहुत मजा आता है कि एक रो को ड्रैग करो और वो बड़ा होते ही जाता है, होते ही जाता है, होते ही जाता है. I mean, Excel will do these wonderful things for you, you know, and it's not wrong, right? Because it's arithmetic. So yeah, so I want to go from the business side to the personal side of entrepreneurship. Now, obviously, you need a strong spouse, and Hitesh alluded to that earlier in the conversation that you need a certain kind of upbringing, you need a certain kind of a culture, maybe a mix of genetics, you know. For some people, entrepreneurship runs in the blood, it's the absolute natural thing to do. But when push comes to shove, entrepreneurship is a lonely business.
It is.
I mean, finally, it's just you and the idea. I mean, your wife can support you, you know, your parents can say, Shabash beta, you know, you're a face that I love, and maybe you're the only face that I love, and so on and so forth. But finally, it's just quite on, and teams come much later. And let's be honest, even though the startup journey is exciting, the person or the individual who has the maximum amount of time, money, effort, and energy invested is actually the founder or the co-founders, as the case might be. How do you deal with that? Because it's very, very lonely. When you're sitting at what, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and punching away stuff when you could be doing 100 other things, how do you deal with that?
So you're right. It's absolutely lonely at times, and especially there are days when things are not working out. You had too many people telling you this is not going to work, what you're doing is bullshit, this is what a crap idea, are you still an NGO, do you work with your husband? So there are a lot of people who will doubt you at all times. And I think there are 2-3 very simple rule of thumbs that I've sort of discovered. One is get up every morning and figure, are you dead? If you're not dead, that's a good thing. Is your startup dead? No, it's not dead. That's good thing number 2. And 3 is, have you got something to do today? Can you move one step towards what you would like to do? Do you, even if you take one step every single day, are you capable of that? Is that day providing you that opportunity? Chances are you're in a good place. You know, unless that light inside you dies out, until you know you come to a point to say, not singing at all. You know, if you are still invested in the idea, if it still makes your heart sing, if you still see that if I do this tomorrow, it can become the piece I want. Tomorrow it can be the go-to for every career woman in this country. If it can be that, is that hope alive? I think you're in a good place. Everything else can go take a walk.
I'd like to dig a little deeper with Hitesh, but there are days when you don't want to wake up. There are days when you wake up and you say, "छोड़ यार, आज चद्दर उड़ के सोने का मन कर रहा है because nothing is going where I want it to go," right? So forget about the naysayers and forget about the external world because you can excuse those guys or you can put a barrier between you and them. But you can't run away from yourself, you know. And there are days, I mean, let's all face up to that. There are days when you wake up into the mirror and say, self-doubt, for want of a better word. How do you handle that?
So I have a three-way approach that I have handled. And I have seen teams with ups and downs. I had a lot of how do I put it? A lot of negativity from my family when I started this business because I came from a setup business. I had built it over the last decade, and I would get taunts to पागल हो, करोड़ों का धंधा छोड़ के, you know, पागलपंती के धंधे पे बैठे रहोगे. And I remember the first event that we had, and I was very excited. I met my family and said, you know, आज मैंने 5.5 लाख का धंधा किया. And they replied, अरे यार मैं 5.5 लाख का धंधा. So those are the negativities that I faced. But I realized that there are 2-3 things that always work with me. Funny, but more ground since you wanted to dig deeper. One was I had a policy like गम का साथी रहो. जब भी mood खराब हुआ, call up 3 friends who are startups, who have the same problems with you, they watch till दारू पीते.
हाँ, तो वो I was coming to that. वो थोड़ा vicious लोग नहीं हो जाएगा.
तो यार उसमें क्या एक तो वो था. That worked well. That worked very well.
Now how does that work? 3 depressed people get together. And they go to a bar. And they get pissed drunk because you're not going to drink in moderation when you're feeling bad.
Right.
How is that therapeutic?
That worked very well because when you got up in the morning, you're like, shit, I can't get worse than this. You know, when you got up in the morning, you're like, now तो यार जितना होना था कल खत्म हो गया. अभी आज तो नहीं पी सकता और hangover ऐसे कुछ कर लेता हूँ.
And there are bigger losers there.
Bigger losers there.
सबसे बड़ा point वो है. So you want to feel up? Just listen to the blues. वहाँ तो कोई और हो रहा है. उसका तो सब मर गया. कुत्ता, आदमी, गर्लफ्रेंड सब मर गए.
Right? Point था. We went to the cheapest bar. Not because we couldn't afford the higher one. वहाँ पे कोई ना कोई हमसे ज्यादा पिया हुआ गिरा पड़ा जरूर मिलता था. So we said, we can't go below this. You know, इतना तो self anxiety है कि इससे नीचे तो नहीं आएंगे अभी यार. तो कल सुबह का action point है. एक वो करना ना. Second thing.
So basically, drink your way out of a depression.
Absolutely, that works. Long ground, that works for. But
Do you follow some of those therapies?
Actually, I have a policy too. So
Does it involve alcohol?
yes, I'm going to come to that. So I don't go out to drink. I don't call people, but every night.
You don't go out to drink and you don't call people.
No, listen to me. Listen to me. So over the years, the only thing I've invested in, I invested in a lovely bar, and it has everything that I like in it, and I invested in a little den. So at the end of the day, you know, between kids and dog and family and relatives, I need a drink a day. I go home, pour myself a drink, sit down, listen to some podcast or whatever, and that's my way to sort of, you know, end the day, irrespective of how it went. And it's
But
been-
this comparative misery
I
thing,
know,
don't you
yeah.
think? No,
behind every successful man or woman.
मैं तो loser हुई, but तू देख, अपना तू देखा तूने?
So this is the story is behind every successful man or woman, there is a bottle.
Actually, they have bottles. There are tons and tons of bottles.
Absolutely.
And rickshaw pullers lying on the footpath, basically.
And the second thing that worked very well was try to get yourself a good mentor. You know, when you're really down and out, the beauty of being on your own is you can get up and not go to bed. कितना भी प्रेशर है ना यार, छोड़ क्लाइंट को कल देखिएगा. क्या एक दिन का धंधा जाएगा, ठीक इशू जाएगा. Get invest or try to genuinely get a mentor where you are able to open your heart and share it. So my mentor knows from my marital problems to everything I have to go and bitch to him. And he also has a simple solution. He's like, क्या मिलना है? तो नन पे मिलना है, ठीक है, आ जाओ. नन पे आप second he sees my face, he's like, अच्छा एक काम कर रहा हूँ. He's like, I might be there. So he gauges the expression and he chooses the drink, and then my heart starts pouring out. You know, sir, ये नहीं कर सकता मैं यार, मैं छोड़ सकते जा रहा हूँ. आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट छोड़ो, आपका मेंटरिंग छोड़ो, मैं सब छोड़ के जा रहा हूँ. ठीक है, 2 ड्रिंक पीते फिर बात.
नहीं, उसका पैसा लगा हुआ है ना, वो तो बोलेगा भाई तो इधर आज वाइन पीते हैं, आज थर्रा नहीं पिएंगे, आज वाइन पिएंगे. So do your mentors you invite into your deck? How do you, so just another question. Cornerstone of tie is obviously mentoring, right? And there are mentors and there are advisors. Advisor भाई bucket load of ज्ञान देके निकल जाएंगे, गाली देके निकल जाएंगे. Quick thumb rule. How do you figure out somebody is good to mentor and how do you remove the wheat from the chaff? I'm sorry, you were saying you have mentors too, but they don't drink with you.
No, they don't drink with me. Actually, I don't even spend a lot of time with them. But they're really there at the back of the game, and they're pretty much there when I need them. So it's not a very spend a lot of time together relationship. But every time I need, I need to bounce off something, or I'm stuck, or there is a crisis, they are a message away. Anywhere in the world, I will get a call. Like yesterday, we had a huge partnership proposal from a large company to say, we'd like to do this whole bid with you, and we promised some major commitments. It sounded like a big deal, and I had a little trouble sort of gauging the whole piece. I just sent this guy a message, and I had a response in 5 minutes, and it sort of paved the way for me to go ahead and do it.
So 2 questions to you. What separates a mentor from a 3 a.m. friend? Because what you're explaining is pretty much what a 3 o'clock in the morning friend does. And what separates them from an advisor?
I think a mentor is somebody who I would say is more experienced than a friend. A friend will, think, chal theek hai, daru pite. A mentor will say, pehle ye khatam kar se daru pite.
I think a mentor has to have some degree of capability in being able to understand what you do and where you need to. That's significantly important. A friend may really like you, but they may have no context of aap kaun ho, kahan jana chahte ho. Most friends don't even know what's the name of your company.
Absolutely. So that's because you're meeting them in shady bars at 6 o'clock and getting pissed off, right?
No, they probably know the name of the company, but they don't know what your pain areas are. Because they wouldn't be able to advise. See, friends are people you like hanging around with. A mentor is somebody who you listen to. Who will give you a fair share of gyan, at the same time give you on-ground reality advice. I think one of the most important characteristics of a mentor and how you choose a mentor is, do you have chemistry with them? Can you actually tell him, listen, I don't like your idea, I don't like your advice, and tell him on his face, listen, screw you or fuck you, I don't like your advice, he yet turns back and gives you advice. That's the kind of chemistry you need to have with somebody who you want to talk with a mentor, because that's the kind of relationship you should be able to build with him. Like he can kick you on your behind and say, listen, stop doing this. At the same time, he can be your cheerleader friend saying, yaar, chal baith, that kind of thing.
So have you guys raised money? Do you have investors on board as well?
I'm building an advisory board. I don't have a board yet. No advisors yet.
You have.
I'm lucky. My mentor invested in me. Right?
Mentor come investor.
Mentor come investor.
Mentor come investor.
So he liked the idea. He liked what I'm doing. So he put his money up.
So how does this whole concept of advisory boards work? I mean, what are you trying to do? Are you getting a bunch of mentors together or?
So, can I just take a minute to talk about what I do so that...
Oh yeah, actually we have to do that at the beginning.
Shameless plug, shameless plug. Lagai.
So, I run what is now called Sheroes.in. It's a career platform for women. And essentially what it means is that there is a large range of flexible jobs online. There are corporate jobs from companies who want to hire more women. And there are entrepreneurial opportunities specifically for women. There's also an online mentor board, there are career resources. So anything that a woman may need through the course of her career. A large part of what we do includes growing the category, building the ecosystem, evangelizing more women at work, talking about women leadership, talking about women entrepreneurship, talking to women who are still in colleges. So there is a lot of powering the conversation and not just the transactional value. So to do that, we need people to come on board and grow the cause. It's really that. And to be able to do that, so there are a lot of people who like this idea. There are a lot of people who are equally passionate about what this can possibly be. There are a lot of people who like what impact we are creating and what impact we are likely to create. So an advisory board is basically a bunch of people who are going to help us do it a little more focused. Maybe they will pool in their resources, their network, their advice, maybe not their time and money because they have day jobs and they have other CEO positions to look after, but they will still watch out for us. They will still pool in what they can for us. So that is the idea of my advisory board, that can they help us grow this category. When I started this, everybody said, this is not even a category. मतलब आप किससे बात करोगे? आप महिला मुक्ति करते हो, आप NGO चलाते हो, आप क्या women को boards में position दिलाते हो, आप क्या headhunter हो? We are none of this.
और आज प्रेम चोपड़ा would say, अबला नारी का उद्धार.
So, exactly. So we had a lot of sort of time figuring out कि ये क्या कर रहे हैं. ये क्या बना रहे हैं, मतलब ये देसी महिला, urban middle class careers, these words were never put together, right? अभी भी आप Google में जाएंगे, women's career search करेंगे तो nothing relevant will come up. There's no solution, there's no product that talks about it. But it's a real pain point in an Indian context. So, in that light, I think
So it's interesting. So these are people who are vouching for you, they are looking out for you, they're watching on you, but they have not really invested, they're not investors.
yeah, they're not investors, they're not people who will, who will look at my P&L, they won't look at operations. But there are some broad goals. हम कुछ बड़ा करना चाहते हैं, उसको कैसे करेंगे, उसमें what are the big possible mistakes we can make,
Correct.
right?
So my question is, this is an interesting learning. So how do you get people who are not putting in money or who are not joining in as an employee to get kicked about being so connected with your company and watch out for you, look out for you, and evangelize you? What does it take to do that?
I think be shameless. Talk about your idea as much as possible. Actually, that's what I did. I think there isn't a forum in this country where I haven't spoken about this concept. You go anywhere internationally and you say women at work India, chances are they will say Fleximoms and Sheroes. So we've been very shameless. I also had the luxury of being able to write, to evangelize, to plug. We do an annual report. We do a fair bit of thought leadership stuff. So it is an unsexy category, the Desi Mahila category, right? Everybody wants to sell them Wimbar and Harpic, but nobody wants to do more than that with them. So we're taking a really unsexy category and making it the real cool thing to do in town, using everything around evangelizing, marketing, thought leadership, and making it the thing to do next.
So as a follow-up question, both of you started businesses which are technically unsexy. I would think Hitesh would say मैं Chinese noodle की दुकान लगा रहा हूँ और unsexy. So how do you build that brand or build that sort of aura of positivity and that coolness that you mentioned for your first employees to come in?
Right.
Is it some kind of higher ideal that you show them, some vision? How does it work?
Yeah. So I think it's very simple. You have to get other people to talk about it, and other people will only talk about it when they have gained from it, or it's been good for them, or they feel good about it.
The first 5 guys, what's the conversation like with the first 5 guys?
You mean the employees?
Yeah, the employees,
Okay.
people.
So all my employees are people who have walked up and said we want to do this, and even today we don't do hiring. We don't put out ads so easily unless they're for tech positions or something. Most people who work with us have to spend like a week to 10 days of hanging out time. The team has to like them, we have to like them. They have to really like what we do because it's a stringent environment. जब आप काम करने लग जाओगे तो फिर मतलब you're on track, there's no backing off, and you have to really understand what are we doing, what is the larger game, what big picture क्या है, क्या करोगे. So in terms of hiring, it's always been. People have come, वो कहते हैं ना कारवां लोग जुड़ते गए और कारवां बनता गया. It's literally been that game. But the thing I think that's worked for us completely is, so we are a career site for women. And yes, a lot of women still don't use online, they call. As a company, we are everywhere. आप social पे जाओगे, आप Facebook पे जाओगे, आप हमें email करोगे, आप हमें phone करोगे. We respond to every call and email with the same respect and same intensity as we would an investor email. Okay, and that's the difference. We don't have a customer care department. My number was on our collateral for the first 2 years. I still get calls to say, मैं गोरखपुर से बोल रही हूँ और मैं घर से काम करना चाहती हूँ, मैं क्या करूँ? So that person will still get the same quality of response from us that any top guy would get. And I think that person is going to go out and talk about it. Every woman we serve well will go out and talk about it to her friends. Most women call us to say, मेरी friend ने आपका number दिया, मैंने आपका नंबर राजस्थान पत्रिका में पढ़ा, मेरे को हमारे फलाने मैनेजर ने आपका नंबर दिया. So that's how I think our users have to talk about it, even though we don't make money out of it, but they still have to talk about it in a way that they just love us, And I want to throw a statistic at everyone. People come and log into a site even when they don't need anything. I mean, that's fairly unique on the internet. The Facebook time on site is, I think, 27 minutes. We do anywhere between 30 and 35 minutes.
And Hitesh, you have a tougher problem still, right? You're in the food business, notoriously finicky customers, notoriously. I know because I'm one. If I hate something, I hate it wholeheartedly, right? How do you get people to love something as simple as food? I know Indians are big foodies, I know you're a foodie yourself, but how do you create magic? Again, around it, for her it's an experience, for you it's an experience, these are two different experiences. How do you make it magic for the customer?
So, I realized that couple of months of the business, I realized that it's going to be a tough journey ahead. So hiring is a big challenge, acquiring customers is going to be a fairly large challenge. And at that point of time, I realized that the only weapon I had was myself. My customers would start talking about us only if they first experience the brand, and then they'll start getting on to talking about it. Similarly with employees, how do you create the buzz? And I realized that a lot of the things that I would have to do is role play. So if you look at the snap behind, when I would go to meet investors, I would wear a chef cap and go. So I would give them the perception that I am somebody who's an expert in the kitchen area. When I met employees and I wanted to hire for our team, I would play different roles. I would have to understand them, show a larger picture at times. I needed to hire one person, and he was strong competition, and I really needed to get him on board. And he was very happy where he was. I actually interviewed him in a 5-star property, so I showed him a bigger picture. I sat down and I explained to him in a 5-star that this is where I will be sitting with you in the next 3 months, and he was very excited. So that was the idea. I remember I wanted to interview somebody, and this cook that I wanted to hire, and he kept on saying that मुझे सिर्फ abroad काम करना है. So I really needed to get him on board. I had to meet him at the airport. So and he's like, sir, कहाँ जा रहे हैं? I'm traveling. I wasn't traveling anywhere. I took my nice story. I went down over there, started at Starbucks, interviewed him. So he's like, sir, मैं कोई फ्लाइट में नहीं बैठा हूँ. So I said, भाई मेरे पास आ जा. मैं तो रोज ट्राई करते रहता हूँ शाम से. अब आ जाओ. So I think the whole idea with, and I've talked to a couple of guys in the morning, that your role play, and I think my years as a headhunter very well taught me this, that the role play required by an entrepreneur to move from investor to client to aggregated client to lovable client to employee to handling the government. You have to keep on moving role play every single day. Every morning, which is very good because it keeps you on your toes, number one. Number two, it cuts out the monotony of life. So today when you get up, you see what am I wanting to achieve today? And there are days I felt like Amitabh Bachchan, when I got up in the morning, and I was like, wow, there are days I was like, Dharmendra, मैं तेरा खून पी जाऊंगा. So there were different days you got up every morning and said, आज क्या बनूंगा मैं? And then you attack those problems throughout the day. And that worked very well for my hiring also. We were able to attract hiring. In terms of our experience with the client, honestly, I don't think it was very difficult. Because we realized there are standards set. So, to give you an idea what we do, we're basically a home delivery business, food home delivery business. And we wanted to disrupt, we wanted to break... we wanted to break the traditional restaurant format, कि ऐसा ही होना चाहिए, तो इसे कुछ अलग करना था. अभी home delivery में problem है कि there is no expectation. The customer is used to make एक डब्बा में खाना दो. There is no service. You are being charged the same thing as being charged in a restaurant. The only difference there, the waiter is going to be standing, yes sir, no sir, खाना खराब है, मैं change कर देता हूँ. यहाँ पे डब्बे में खाना लो, बुरा लगा, thank you, आप डब्बे कचरा फेंको, आपकी problem. तो जैसे हमने वो level को up किया, we said secondly up the experience barrier, we were from the packaging to we started giving them a service at home delivery level, and they were like, wow, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. And that's what got it to talk and get it right.
So I want to take a step back, Parikshit is in the audience, and the problem with entrepreneur rock stars like them is, वो थोड़ा gloss हो जाता है. So if you ask Narayan Murthy sir क्या किया, आधा तो याद नहीं रहता है. Even then the story gets built up, and the moment you're a big success, people will overanalyze your success to death. So everybody has their own version of what made you succeed, and sometimes you say शायद ये भी हुआ होगा. You don't actually remember it. Parikshit, am I right? You don't really remember that journey, right? I mean, it's a series of steps. It's not really one giant leap. You don't realize it because it takes 7-10 years, and suddenly you realize, अरे यार, ये हो गया मेरे ऑफिस में 100 लोग हैं. That's how it occurs. For startups especially, there is more down than up, as is the case with most organizations and most businesses when they start. So we've discussed drinking with friends, we've discussed drinking alone, which by the way is not a good idea. I must tell you that. Drinking alone is good.
Next time you want the vodka, we're more than happy.
अरे इसके पास तो बार भी है. सब आपके दोस्त ही हैं. Anyway, on topic, how do you celebrate the small successes? Which is what, before you become a rock star, before you have your fair share of failures, but you also have these small wins, right? And it's very, very important to recognize those wins for what they are, because they're stepping stones to a much larger picture. This again is a topic people kind of skip, which is why I want to pull back attention to it. I'm sure you have small wins. How do you celebrate them? How do you recognize them? How do you energize your team with? Because no big stuff is happening, let's face it.
Actually, yeah, the big stuff, I mean, big stuff doesn't happen until a lot of time has passed. वो मतलब rear view mirror insight.
Correct.
The daily insight is actually really small. यार, आज इतने सारे jobs आ गए, आज इतने सारे users आ गए, आज हमें testimonial भेजा किसी ने Twitter पे हमारे बारे में कितनी अच्छी बात की, उसका screenshot ले लो, send it to everybody. And that's what I think is really important, because अगर रोज कुछ छोटा अच्छा हो रहा है, चाहे 1 मिनट का काम हो रहा है, किसी ने ट्विटर पे अच्छे से आपके लिख दिया, you got a new contract, या is something significant has happened in terms of जो आपको maybe a new partnership has come in, and I think those are things that will keep the team going. That is the daily inspiration.
So how do you amplify and share that? Do you have like a process? Do you ring a bell like they're in Pizza Hut? What do you do, guys?
So I have a hugely distributed team. I have team working from Mozambique and Bangalore and Baroda and everywhere, along with our office. So we have a little WhatsApp team group where I think everything gets shared. People get dragged, all the good stuff gets shared. Of course, all the so there are times when people are sitting in meetings, ये तो बहुत grill कर रहा है, this contract's not happening or something's not happening. So I think because we're still a small team, we can do that. But sharing instantaneously everything that's going on, also sharing the failures. We are in big soup today. That contract went off. या फिर ये the other thing we did was हमने एक छोटा सा Friends of Shiro's online एक group बना दिया. So everything nice happens, we go and send a mail. Friends of Shiro's. So it just people write back. At least we stay on their radar. And it's the same thing, they watch out for us. Sometimes people, one thing happens and they will help us do the next thing. So that's how it typically goes.
Hitesh, you have a different problem, right? Your workforce is not necessarily the knowledge worker. You have a large base of pyramid guys who are, to put it plainly, not up the curve on education. There is a frontline force, so to speak. How do you sharing on technology when everybody has a smartphone is a given? How do you share successes with your team when they don't have access to technology or they don't have the bandwidth to pick this stuff up?
So, I do 3 things, success is shared with my team, super success is shared with my team and clients, and failure is celebrated by me. So, this is a strategy that I use. With the team at the ground level, जब भी success मिलता है, review, good review, these people don't have high ambitions. So what we've done a rating system, and internally every success we get, they get a star on their board. Which is because I keep telling them that every success that we've got is the team combined together. Maybe I got it, maybe one guy got it, maybe some other guy got it. But how is it? It links because the entire team works together. The guys in the kitchen have nothing to, this is the problem in any restaurant. खाना अच्छा होता है, waiter को बताया जाता है कि cook को कुछ मालूम नहीं पड़ा है, कि waiter को मिलती cook का कुछ बनती नहीं है. So we realized this is the challenge. We created the board and then every success gets a star for the entire team. At the end of the month, depending on the number of stars, we celebrate. It could be lunch, it could be clothes, it could be, and surprisingly, the biggest thing that motivated these guys was prepaid SIM charges.
What's the kick in that? I mean, what's
So
the end
for
use?
somebody who's at an 8-10,000 salary, to get a 300 rupees recharge free,
Is a call home?
it's a call home, it's a half an hour chat home, which normally they wouldn't do because 300 is their full-time charge. So they're very excited to come and celebrate. They're very excited to come and start doing better. So that's one thing we celebrate. We celebrate larger successes with our clients. We call up our clients and we're very shameful with our clients. We don't have too many investors, so our clients is very shameful. We tell them today we did this, we're giving you free food. And they're more than happy. And we don't have an online community, but we've been able to build an offline community where now we have clients calling up and telling us, "Yeah, aaj nahi milega kya?" So we would sometimes send a dessert, saying we're happy today, we had successes, we're sending a dessert. And we actually had clients calling up and saying, "अच्छा आज order कब से आया क्या? अच्छा इसलिए आपको इसलिए नहीं है, ठीक है चलो कल ना मैं ज़्यादा order कर देता." So we started involving everybody into the model. Now we're trying to figure out how do we involve vendors into our success. Do we incentivize them by a higher payout? Get everybody involved. So it's not just my team and I that work for it. It's my team, myself, my clients, and my vendors now who should work for it. But on that note, one thing that I realized we see in this country is we don't celebrate failure. as an entrepreneur, as a startup, the biggest problem of this country is we just don't celebrate failure. Failure is looked on upon so miserably. When I shut down my first store at Carter Road, which is a premium location in Bandra, I was upset. I rewarded myself with a trip to Vegas. And I said, I have worked hard, I failed, so what if I failed? That's why I said I have to reward myself for failure. Because I tried, and if I don't have something to look forward, I'm not gonna. Failure is a way of life, and the more you reward it, the more you're gonna enjoy it, the more you're gonna look forward to failing, and you rather fail fast. So that's
Just don't make a habit of it. I mean, Vegas, you know what Vegas does to people, right? So, also because this is Smash Up and because conversations are informal and unstructured, there's a lot of formulaic yarn floating around saying, at a broad 50,000 feet level. And when people say 50,000 feet, which is a gap word I'm using just to illustrate what I'm saying, in a jetliner you don't fly at 50,000 feet. So I don't know how you got that view. The highest I have flown is 3740. I don't know where you get a 50,000 feet view from. It's because, do generally these set of things, keep all stakeholders win-win, blah, blah, blue, blue. What are the things that you do, or what are the learnings, specific learnings from your business? Because it's very important. Both of you have started this journey. It's still pretty early days. The memories are still fresh. The learnings are still new, and more importantly, they're topical, right? You haven't become that MNC behemoth that you hated and quit, right? So what are the learnings that you have specific to your business, not global gap, not flying above, jet altitude, that you would like to share with our audience?
I think creating resonance value for your user. मतलब
ये तो इंग्लिश हो गया.
इंग्लिश में बहुत ही सिंपल वर्ड में बनाती हूँ कि वो जो महिला फोन करती है ना, वो गोरखपुर से करे या बैंगलोर से करे, she should feel really easy about calling you up. She shouldn't go out to articulate her problem, and she should be able to go back with something which is little more easy for her to do, or one step forward. And I think in my system, in our scheme of things, that's success. Investors, revenue, traction, ecosystem, companies, I think everything else is second. हमारे यहाँ अगर किसी महिला को कोई भी करियर ज़रूरत है, उसको जॉब चाहिए, उसके पास सवाल है, उसको मेंटरशिप चाहिए, उसको कनेक्ट चाहिए, वहीं सॉल्व कर. That's priority number one. Or I think that's the agenda set out for every single person. We processed 1 million service requests last year from 1100 locations in India, from women all over the country. And we figured, अगर हम सिर्फ यही करेंगे और कोई बिजनेस मॉडल नहीं बनाएंगे, किसी को कुछ नहीं बेचेंगे, कुछ भी मतलब हमारा टेक भी बहुत खराब है, हम चल रहे हैं, we fine, we're investing. अगर हम सिर्फ यही करते रहें, I think it will take to a place where nobody else can catch up. It's just so hard because it's so invested in as a business. It's got all our lives invested in it. And I think that's real. मतलब इसी के लिए बिजनेस शुरू किया था ना, इसी महिला के लिए कि जिसको करियर में कोई हेल्प चाहिए या जिसको ऑप्शंस चाहिए. All other elements keep falling in place, and I think the other tactical thing that we did was don't die out, keep surviving. So to make money, we do many things which are not part of the scheme. We do a little compliance in the sexual harassment law. We help companies build flex strategies. We're the only company that helps companies build large format programs with women. So if a company walked up to me today and said, I need to build 1,500 resellers or 1,000 work from home agents, we're the only company who can do that turnkey and sort of put it on the table. But those are not part of a long-term vision. Those are Robin Hood strategies, make money from one side and put it in another. So don't die out. If you're not dead, you can go on to the next step. And that's what my team knows. A lot of people who sort of we got compared to are now shut shop. They don't exist in the category. I also want to share with you, Sheryl Sandberg made an investment in a similar business last year, which raised a humongous $10 million angel fund. Okay, that was the largest angel fund for a business like this ever. Today we do 2 times the numbers in all categories without raising a single paisa. So stay true to what you want to do. Does it make you happy at the end of the day? मतलब कोई महिला आपको आके बोलेगी कि you changed my life, or I got better because of you, or I got an information, and we built it like a community, and we are open to all. And I think just that one line of mission keeps us sane at all times.
Hitesh, what about you? Again, completely different business. What are your learnings? What is that What is that one takeout that you've learned so far from your current business?
I think one of the most important things I learned was how well to define your target customer. How well can you understand him? How well can you build your business model around your target customer? We have a drawing in my cabin, and we keep on changing. We keep on looking at drawing every 2 weeks, every week, whenever we get time. And actually, kind of the drawing बनाई है हमने. That drawing is basically we've identified who is the guy who will walk in and who will order from us. To the fact that we've put the tag on the brand of underwear here. ये जो the
कौन सा चड्डी पहनता है? Just talking. क्या बात कर रहे हो?
target customer. We've actually drawn him. ये पैंट पहनेगा, ये सॉक्स पहनेगा, ये जूता पहनेगा. The more we understand him, the more we can better target to him. That's one thing we realized. Number two, we realized very early that we cannot pay a customer for our ride. So we said the customer has to get value from what he is doing. We're not in a phase where हमें बहुत पैसा कमाना है. पैसा थोड़ा बहुत कमा लिया, बाकी फंडिंग मिल जाएगी, नेक्स्ट उठा लेंगे, चल जाएगा. अभी हमारा फोकस क्या था? कस्टमर के लिए एक्सपीरियंस बिल्ड करना. When he gets the packet of food in his hand, does he feel that he is actually having world-class food? That's what was very important for us to create. And we're lucky that we've been able to do both of them. We understood our TV so well, we actually can now define when he will order from us and what time he will order from us. And it is very early. Of course, the trends will change and the TV will expand. But as of today, we're able to understand that he will order from us on Tuesday. This is what he will tend to order. In terms of value, we're almost there. He perceives us as a value-added product to his life, and it's an aspirational product. So he's very happy ordering from us. He's very happy that says, okay, I want to be associated with this brand. Of course, we put some quirky angles to it, which is giving us a lot more return. But the essence is the packet that comes in his hand. And our inspiration was the iPhone. The iPhone, the iPad. We bought the package. We realized that the second you get that box in your hand, you're like, wow. So that's the kind of feeling we want to build. It's yet work in progress, but we want to have packaging that makes our customers go weak in the knee. And that's the learning that we had. That's what it's going to take us ahead.
Sahil Chahal and Hitesh Bhatia, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Lovely having you on stage.